This is video 5, and officially the last video for the articles I'm ever gonna have to do for this class. God bless. This is on relational reconciliation toward a more comprehensive model of relational development. I would like to note that this article is written in 1992, so it's like it was the first article of its kind on again, off again relationships and reconciling relationships. So like the stuff that it's gonna say, like it's gonna say that there was limited to no research on it, and that's because they were like the first of their kind, if that makes sense. I hope that was a good enough disclaimer, because if not, some of the stuff that I was saying is gonna make a little bit gonna be a little bit confusing. All right. So this is the literature review section. It's generally accepted that relationships develop at least partially in function of time, right? So relationships get stronger, you know, you move in together, you get married, all that types of different stuff, right? However, it's a social reality that once a relationship is terminated, doesn't necessarily mean the end of it. And that can be shown by the fact that there are legal separations, and those serve the singular purpose of temporarily suspending the relationship with the hope that the partners are later going to reconcile. The same thing happens during dating relationships. The literature on reconciliation is almost non-existent. There was only one article before that had talked about it. And in that article, they had established that there was 10 strategy types, which consisted of the martyr, the innocence, the realization, persistence, caring, boastful, denial, apologetic, direct, and threatening messages. The people default to their maintenance strategies when trying to affect repair, is what has been said before. So you're going to go and you're going to try to maintain the relationship if you're trying to get back together with them. Make sense? Pretty simple, right? And they argue that the perceived occurrence of relationship termination argues the nature of the strategies you're going to apply to said reconciliation, and which represent a direct set of strategic approaches. So this study is going to look at the different strategies people take to get back together with each other. Yeah. So the methodology section, there were 2 sets of subjects were used for the 2 parts of the study, right? Part 1, subjects participated in an audio taped interview, and the second set of participants were subjects that performed a Q-sort procedure. The first phase, which was the interview phase with those participants, they were aged 17 to 33, with a definite break for at least 1 month with little contact, and experienced a complete reconciliation process. The second phase, which was a Q-sort procedure, they were ages 19 to 42, then had 7 males and 14 females. The five styles of question used. Oh, I'm sorry. There is 5 like kind of vague questions used. 5 styles of questions used, right? And then the interviews were then transcribed and analyzed. The questionnaire would then be triangulated with the interview responses. So that's how they analyze the data. And then moving on to the results, the typology is composed of 7 different strategy types. Spontaneous development, which would be they kind of just ended up getting together, ended up getting back. Like, it wasn't something that was planned, really. On the third party mediation, which meant that their social group, their social support system, their friends or their family was involved directly in the getting together or the breaking up getting together process. So they kind of had like a third person play messenger between the two partners. And then high effect ultimatum literally meant like, have me or I'm walking out of your life. Deal with it, that type of thing, right? Persistence, which goes into the persistence pursuit theory, that like one partner in the relationship was just really consistent and persistent about getting back together. Mutual interaction, so they stayed in contact and they, just like kind of ended up getting back together, that kind of thing. Like, it was just like a mutual decision to get back together, right? And then avoidance of the relationship, avoidance of getting back together, avoidance of talking about the relationship, and vulnerable appeals, like, I'm gonna make myself vulnerable to you so that you can go down. I feel bad for her type thing. And it's kind of messed up, but That's what happens, you know. Then the status quo and reconciliation consists of little contact, low involvement, and low emotional support. Avoidance consists of a standard modality for dealing with conflict independent of context. Nobody really discussed the end of their relationship when you talk about the communication of the communication between partners. Nobody really spoke of, oh, it's over for us. Like, it's actually done. And that's kind of for obvious reasons, because if they're leaving that door open, they're not going to say that it was actually done. And they would only have open, honest talk during their moments of crisis. They don't have that clear, direct communication during times that weren't, like, crisis or weren't really, really bad. And that's kind of goes to the, like, it's a low quality relationship type thing, right? Then meta communication, behavioral changes, contact togetherness, and apology /admit fault appear as similar strategies for both reconciliation and repair of the relationship. Reconciliation minimally requires a more diverse strategic repertoire than repair or maintenance, because reconciliation is getting the other person back. Just trying to fix the relationship or maintain the relationship doesn't require as much effort, in a sense, you know? And for many relationships, reconciliation may represent a phase of development onto itself, which is exactly why it's so important to study this, because if it's such a common thing and it's just something that's part of relationship development, honestly, at this point, then that's something that needs to be discussed and needs to be talked about, because clearly it's not healthy and can have some really, like, bad effects on the people in the relationship. And that was video 5, and I'm done with all my videos for this class.